excited for today's video. As you can tell by the title, I'm going to show you one of my favorite journals of all time. By far, this book got me through the toughest years of my life, my most growing adolescent years of just experiencing so many firsts. It's been on my list of videos to make since before I even started my YouTube channel. That's how attached to this journal I was and how much I just wanted to share it with someone. If you also journal or do anything creative, you know that feeling of when you're proud of something and you want to show it to someone who cares, just so that they can see a piece of your mind. I do know that this book is such a personal look into those years of my life. It really does tell a story. I love it so much. I've wanted to share it with everyone for so long. This is also a video that as a viewer I would have loved to see, and there are videos out there of people that show their very unique or Tumblr inspired journals that I love to watch because it also inspires me. So maybe this will inspire some pages in your own journal. But thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell. I shout out the first comment on all my socials, so make sure that you follow me on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter. I also constantly share photos of journal pages that I'm currently working on my Instagram stories and Snapchat and all of that as well if you're into that. I finished this journal a few years ago. I keep looking over here because that's where the journal is, but I finished that journal in 2016, so I can definitely do more recent journals, but I definitely wanted to start with this baby because it sparked everything and it is my favorite journal. If I had to choose one journal to grab in a house fire, it'd be that one. I'm not sure what the world is going to look like when I post this video. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. I know you guys are here for the journal, so let's get into that. Hey guys, welcome to my new desk space. In case you missed my office transformation, I'll link it above as well as down below because we are in my office. This is the journal that I will be showing you today. I got this in 2014, my senior year of high school. It was a gift from a high school friend during a kind of secret Santa get together. So I'm really excited to show you kind of like everything that I went through. Graduating high school, experiencing college, growing up, boys, learning about myself and love and all of that. Some pages are not perfect. I do feel like I have to preface that, but we're here to learn more about me. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are just my thoughts and my experiences. But the opening page, I went back and doodled on this later. This was a page that I left blank until I finished the book, but I just wrote, "Here lies Makaylasamountry, student, learner, child of stardust, artist, adolescent, survivor." That was a really big thing that I kind of recovered through in these years. And these are the years that this journal kind of like came to life. So this is the first page that I ever filled out. It was spring break, my senior year of high school, and I realized that I wanted to experience spring cleaning differently. Instead of like cleaning out my closet, I needed to clean out kind of like myself and my thoughts. So this was a list of everything that I came up with. I actually have a video where I share this list. I posted that a year ago, so I'll link that above as well as down below if you're curious. But this was my thought process, spring break, senior year. I kind of went through this phase where I would write down the lyrics of songs that I really felt connected to. So Regina Spektor was huge for me senior year of high school. Like, she got me through so many dark thoughts. This is her song Braille. It also helped me understand lyrics more when I'd write them out. Let me know if anyone else loves this song because oh my god, this song will still make me emotional. This page, I actually have a photo. The reason I untaped it and put it downward is because I didn't like looking at it and it actually made me feel really sad. But you know what? We're here to learn more about me and see it all. So as you can tell by the caption of this photo, it was taken summer 2008 at the Children's Hospital. It is a family photo and I write down here, "This is what 13 looked like." This is my own thoughts and I didn't really know how it was going to end, but I just knew I needed a reminder. I write, "There will be days where you feel a lot and there will be days where you feel absolutely nothing. You will get lost and often confused, stressed in the thought of just living. But during the times of victory, remember all of your defeats, and during the time you reek at rock bottom, feeling it all is deemed pointless. Remember the flutter of your pounding heart when you smiled on that glorious day. There will be moments like this again, but there will be more times of clarity, so don't feel too lost when alone. Someone will find you, perhaps it is yourself." Great reminder. So senior year of high school, obviously I had a lot to go through. Colleges. Over on this side, I have a list of all of the colleges that I was accepted into, as well as waitlisted and rejected, the scholarships and financial aid that they offered. I was really contemplating where to spend my future. I have a video actually all about this page as well, so if you want to check out that video, I'll link that above as well as down below. Over here, I used to have a stamp collection, so I thought it was fitting for this blank page. Where will I call home? I was going through a really tough time time my senior year personally with mental health and also just not knowing where my future was going to be. It was very stressful, and I think this one specifically, I just was very overwhelmed. Obviously, as you can read this, I probably was going through a slight depression as well. So this is actually inspired off of a writing assignment my senior year in creative writing class. It was the 3-word challenge. Our creative writing teacher had us write a personal narrative only using 3-worded sentences. I copied mine down because I really liked how it turned out, and it really helped me expand my creative expression and like boundaries with that. Grammatically speaking, they may not be complete sentences, but they are sentences. I'll read you a few sentences in case you're curious. Like, I am early, it's still June, full of life. The moon's out, stars are bright. It gets better. I don't cry. Not ever anymore. There's no use. When I do, I feel weak. So if you're a writer, I highly recommend trying the 3-word challenge. It's super fun. Ooh, Colored Pencil for the win. This is another song by Regina Spektor. It's called The Man of 1,000 Faces. It has one of my favorite verses of all time. Good is better than perfect. Scrub till your fingers are bleeding. And I'm crying for things that I tell others to do without crying. Oh my God, look up this song. Oh, it's so meaningful. I love it so much. I constantly have to remind myself good is better than perfect. I do struggle with perfectionism and like those type of thoughts, but just to remember that like good is better than perfect. Just work hard until your fingers are bleeding. But you know, have boundaries. I struggled with self-harm, and this is something that I just wrote about here. I also would share this journal with my therapist. She loved it because it gave her such an insight on how my mind works. Here, I just kind of talk about the difficulty with it in high school. My first sentence I really like. I say, when I am all grown, doing adult-like things, I will have to make sure my shower is of a dark color, gray or wood perhaps, for I cannot open my sanguine eyes after a cry or mental breakdown to a blinding, blaring, empty state of absolute white. It is too hard, too harsh. I need comfort in my darkness. If you want to pause and read it, go right ahead, but I will just keep moving on. It really helped me to come up with lists of people that I could relate to. So you'll see this throughout this journal, but here is a list at the time, 2014, of the celebrities that have come forward with their struggle with self-harm. Just kind of like looking at all of these successful women and men, it helped me a lot. To contrast though, I've got Positive Vibes. This was actually one of my very first YouTube videos. I shared this. Oh, if you want a good throwback to like literally when I started my channel, I'll link it above as well as down below. But this is a list of everything that made me happy. This is still true, honestly. Country music, classic literature, full moons, modern art, city skylines, rollerblading. Yeah, this is all very accurate. If you need an activity, highly recommend coming up with your own list. Ooh, this is a really favorite page of mine. So this is a page all about how essentially everything is connected, specifically about how creativity is linked to insanity. I realized in one of my classes, you know, that a lot of creative people were suffering with mental health, and so I started to research it on my own and discovered that neuroscientists have concluded that creativity is akin to insanity, for those creative have a mind that mimics schizophrenia. The striking similarities in the brain lack the important receptor used to filter and direct thoughts. We are able to think outside the box to an extent, many cannot. In many cases, it can lead to mental illness. So here I have a list of all the quote-unquote insane artists like Van Gogh, Dali, Pollock, O'Keeffe, and then any writers that went through mental health issues. And I have quotes from Edgar Allan Poe about how like men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligence. Da Vinci realized that everything connects to everything else. Oh, I love this page so much because it made me feel not alone, creative, and that it's okay to struggle, because look at all of these people like Vonnegut and Plath, Woolf, Sexton, Hemingway, Fitzgerald, who like went through issues. You know, Edgar Allan Poe was known as a tortured genius. So I really love this page. This next page is another song by Regina Spektor. Highly recommend. He stumbled into faith and thought, God, this is all there is. Oh my God, this song, I could analyze these lyrics trying to figure out what they mean forever. But blue is obviously very symbolic in it, so I have this little printout from a magazine of blue water and blue sky. Blue, the most human color, blue lips, blue veins, blue the color of our planet. It actually inspired kind of the layout of my next page. I was reading To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf for class at this time, and there's a quote in it that I still think about. It's like my favorite quote ever. She goes, "For there are moments when no one can neither think nor feel. And if one can neither think nor feel," she thought, Where is one? Where is she if you can't think? And I so related to that. I just really wanted to capture that quote because I related to it so much, and I love Virginia Woolf. She's my favorite modern writer. Here are some poems that I wrote. I love writing poetry, as you may have noticed on this channel, and then I'd quick hand contour, kind of like 3 hands on top of each other. These are 2 poems that I'm very proud of. They were assignments, and if you've ever read Jamaica Kincaid's piece on, I think it's called Girl, it's very similar to that, where it's all commands that you hear from someone. It's called Daughter, and it's everything that a mother has told me, and it's dark, but I didn't like how dark it was because it made me feel upset. So then I made another poem titled Mother, and it was everything I wanted to tell her. Keep in mind this is poetry, so it is kind of an extension on the truth, but I'm surprised I haven't shared these yet, but I really, really love it. What's crazy is I printed out this poem and shared it with a teacher that I got really close to my senior year, and she was crying while she was reading it. She said it was so good, and that just like really helped me. Maybe I will share it, but I don't want to do it in this video because it's just going to be too long. So comment down below if you'd like to see that video and I can read it. So those poems actually inspired so many more pieces of mine. This is what you should have told me, which is things that I kind of like wish I could tell my own daughter. This was actually my first publication. This piece is printed in a literary magazine that paid me $75 to publish it when I was 19. Isn't that insane? I'm pretty sure I share this in a video where I read my publication, so I'll link that down below. So this is what you should have told me, and then this is what I'll never tell you, and it's kind of like bigger secrets of when I was a teenager. This was an extra piece off of my vision board, but I thought it fit better here, and I tried to mimic it in contrast over here. Feeling beautiful inside and out was what I was going for. And then I went to New York City for the first time, which was a dream come true. For the longest time I wanted to move to New York for college and live there and have the cliche writer's experience in the city. My art history actually went to New York April 4th through April 6th, because I have the dates in here. I've got my subway ticket, I've got my museum tickets, my boarding pass. So just little memories of that trip. My cousin and I went to see Bastille in concert that April, so I wrote down my favorite song by them, The Poet, and then I talk about the concert at First Ave and that experience because it was so fun and so last minute. She literally texted me being like, hey, my friend bailed, I've got tickets, do you want to go? I'm really glad I got to see them live. Holy crap, I love this page so much. This is my life path number. If you are curious, I am an 11, the master dreamer. This talks about my strengths, my characters, my challenges, all with being an 11. So 11 is the most intuitive of all numbers. I'm very spiritually aware. Again, perfectionist, deep thinker, dreamer, introverted, energetically sensitive. Like this page just screams me. If you are also an 11, I feel like you would enjoy this. Feel free to pause and give this page a good look because I spent so long on this page and I love how it turned out. This really is like my soul. Full moons. I still do this to track full moons. I was madly in love with a boy. Somehow I connected it to the moons and I say how I like don't want to waste another full moon on him and how I gave him a good year of my youth, but he doesn't get another day. These 2 sentences really just stuck out to me, obviously. Like the only thing that's changed this year is my knowledge, and that's not a thing at all. At times, it's as if I never even walked into his life, like we never met or kissed the way he looks right through me. Ooh, I was going through some high school feelings. During high school senior year, I had a month called May program where you get to do like focused projects like a J term in college. Mine was on poetry, and this was a poem that I wrote for that program. These are pieces of greenery that I picked out of my backyard. I really love it, so I will share this with you as well. You spit on the earth the first time you cried. Mother Nature's child, brighter stars have died, and you couldn't find a face to blame when man took nature's pride. Hollow proved not to be thy name, and thy kingdom come that never came, burned thicker blood in flashing flames, so you cried and spit and ran to hide when man came and took thy nature's pride. I left it untitled, but as you can tell, it definitely plays around with religion and nature and man versus nature, man versus religion. I was kind of battling staying true to the faith that I was raised in because I talk about how hollow proved not to be thy name, the kingdom that never came, and how you spit on the earth when you cried, but like Mother Nature's child, you know, like brighter stars have died, like it's not that big of a deal. You couldn't find a face to blame when man took nature's pride. So like when man came and like took over for nature and like science and all of that. So I really love it. This is the page that my therapist read and looked up and asked if I had ever been tested for bipolar. This really sealed the deal for her. This was the weekend where I'm pretty sure I tried to drink myself to death and ended up writing like a beautiful poem. I'll read you the first sentence because that's basically when she was like, I think you're bipolar. I want to be successful, but I also want to die. I want to cry, but I also don't want to break down. I want to get out of here, but I also don't want to go to college either. Do you see my problem? I am stuck. I am no longer in control and can do nothing. The end of senior year was just super hard on me. Change was so scary. I didn't know where I was going to college yet. It was a lot. This was an exercise that my therapist recommended. She wanted me to list out all of the sounds that make me happy as well as the scents. So here are a few sounds and scents that make me happy, and maybe you can relate. Comment down below if you have any other ones, because I really tried to think of specific, unique ones to me. My all-time favorite films, most are childhood films or older films, because duh, this was written in 2014. Matilda, Anastasia, Beauty and the Beast, Annie, The Little Mermaid. Obviously, you can tell I have a thing for like independent youth, and I felt very independent and on my own most of my life, so Home Alone. Stuck in Love, oh my god, I was obsessed with that film. So yeah, let me know if we have any favorite films in common. This was a night where my therapist said, oh, you were feeling grateful, because I was. The power went out, it's storming, and I must remember to be thankful for, and then I write all the things that night, you know, like my strong mother for handling the generator out back even when it was pouring and she didn't know exactly what she was doing. Okay, this is the poem that I mentioned earlier that I wrote when I tried to drink myself to death. I feel like I should put like a trigger warning on this video, but obviously like I was a teenager going through some dark times. I was so proud. This was my first spoken word piece. I really, really love this. I play on the idea of freedom in America with growing up in youth. I have a full visual poem, like music video to this piece. Link it down below as well as in an iCard. I went around the whole city with my friend and we filmed it. It was super, super fun. So if you want to see this poem in action and hear me say it and experience those thoughts, please check it out. Taking on new adventures. This was taken on May 1st, decision day. In that moment, that exact moment, everything changed, and it did. That was when we decided what colleges to go to. I chose Worcester, but I really wanted to go to Wagner College, and I wrote down the upsides of like, this is, you know, the pros. This is why I have to go there. Firewood, another song by Regina Spektor. Again, such a favorite. Highly recommend looking it up. Everything in bold really speaks to me. Everyone knows you're going to live. Everyone knows it's going to hurt. You'll want to go back. You'll wish you were small. I don't know. It's so sad. I love that song so much. So, oh my god. This was right before I moved into my college dorm, moving out of my house. Very sad. This paragraph is one complete sentence. I was very obsessed with Virginia Woolf at the time, and she is known for having sentences the lengths of novels. It's grammatically correct, I can assure you, but I had a lot of fun kind of mimicking her writing style here. Half of the time I am terrified that every outfit I choose to wear, every load of laundry or day spent sleeping in or getting a gallon of gas will be my last ever, making me depressed as F, clinging to my home, wondering what would happen if I changed my mind and decided not to go, while the other half I catch myself counting down the days with pure excitement. So it's just, you know, all those mixed feelings with moving on and change, and it was tough, it was scary. In case you're younger, in case you are at this point in life and you can relate to that, I still get gallons of gas here. I still do laundry at my parents'. Like, things will change, but you will always have that home to go back to. At my graduation party, we had a jar where people could leave me notes of advice for college, and I saved them all and stuck them in my journal. I'm sad that some of them have water damage, but they're from friends, family, teachers. It's so sweet. I really love it. It's nice to be able to have this to look back on for that time and the people in my life. I wrote this the day before my first class in college. If I told you I remember my first day of school, I'd be lying. I don't remember my second day either. Simply a collection of snippets, scents, and sounds, articles of clothing, names all jumbled in my head that make up my year as a preschooler. Your first day of college isn't really much different. At least for me, it isn't. And then I glued in some of my paper dolls from my childhood. Yes, I still had them. I literally hold on to everything in my life, but I figured it was perfect for here because dolls are such a symbol of like childhood and innocence and this little girl, and I compare my first day of school, like in preschool, to my first day of college and how it's not that different. But at the end, I say, I wish I could be starting preschool instead on Monday. My first semester at college, I dealt with my eating disorder, and I don't really talk about this a lot because I think a lot of teenagers kind of go through this body dysmorphia, and I didn't want to trigger or highlight it because I wanted to really just move past it. This was a mirror. Have you ever tried to draw the reflection in a mirror? It's like really difficult. Again, here's the list list celebrities who beat their eating disorders to help me relate and realize that I'm not alone. You Are Your Mother's Child. This song I first heard in Stuck in Love. It was also a time in my life in therapy when I was dealing with a lot of memories from childhood and working through what I've gone through and realizing from a different perspective what I couldn't recognize as a kid. So this song also holds a lot of meaning for just finding me at the perfect time in my life, but also, you know, realizing you are your mother's child, you always will be, and they're just doing the best job that they can for you. So this song really helped me with that. Hands. This is going to be very symbolic because I used this type of like image with hands to talk about a boy experience. If you listen to my podcast, it's in the episode Getting Over Someone You Didn't Even Date. I go through the whole story, but it happened the summer before college and my first semester of college. This is a poem that I wrote about him. I captured this image because you can't tell, is she trying to let go and he's holding on to her, or is he trying to, like, who is letting go? Are they trying to stay together? Is someone trying to get away? What is the grip saying? But I mean, they are like holding on to each other still. And then we jump to this page and they're no longer touching. And I dated it October 22nd. That was the day that I saw a photo of him with a new girl on Facebook and they kind of made it official. Oh, it hurt. Although it hurt though, I'm Okay by The Shoes. This song helped me so much. I'm just here trying to be my own queen. I guess the king thing didn't work out for me. I'm okay. Yeah. Really good song, very helpful for hard times. I got into painting with nail polish in my freshman dorm because I felt so isolated and stuck. Painting really helped me express myself. I didn't have any paint in my dorm, so I used nail polish to go through like colors that I would never paint my nails. Most of these are from Delia's, LOL. So over here, this is how I feel on the outside. And I used blues and cooler colors and I did it up and down, but on the inside in warm colors, I did it like in a different direction to show how I feel on the inside versus the outside. Remember when I mentioned my therapist that I had bipolar? Well, this is the page where I accept my bipolar, do research, journal about it. I have a video all about it. I actually read this in that video about bipolar, so I'll link that down below as well. As you can tell, it was like a huge entry on trying to figure out who I was and what I felt. I came up with this in high school. I showed it to my friends and she said she has never seen anything like it, but I combined math with my emotions and did a sine cosine graph. Red is me and black is how I feel like everyone else experiences emotions. So if you want to pause it and kind of read the graph, feel free because this helped me so much. But yeah, I really felt connected to that. Do you ever feel not completely there? Like you're walking and blinking and doing everything you're absolutely supposed to be doing in order to function, and yet something still isn't clicking? Yeah, I wrote about feeling kind of like stuck and not present. I was clearly going through kind of a depressive episode. My freshman year of college was really hard. New Year's Eve, I wrote down the highlights and the hopes. The highlights of 2014 and the hopes of 2015. I shared this on my Instagram way back when. Feel free to pause and read this as well. Here we have another song called That Year by Brandi Carlile. Still one of my favorites. Hits me in the heart. You should have taken a long break instead of a long drop from a high place. Brandi Carlile just really knows how to like hit me with the feels. I love her so much. So another song that really helped me during that time. Here is my little vision board that I made out of a magazine that I read on a flight from winter break back to school in Ohio for the second semester. I don't have any fear now. Change your perspective on relapsing. I combined this because MS are my initials. Conquer New York, because I wanted to move to New York. We have another masterpiece made out of nail polish. Cover Your Stomach. It's another very proud poem of spoken word that I wrote. I have a visual poem on this as well, full of home videos on VHS of my childhood that go through everything I experience in this poem. Definitely watch that. I'll link it down below, but I will not read it here because I already have a full video reading it. But it is about the relationship between mothers and daughters and growing up and realizing that, you know, your mother may have been wrong, but she was also trying to protect you. It helps me go through so much that I went through. So highly recommend checking out that video. Here's me in May, still holding on to the first boy that didn't break my heart, but like it was so hard to get over him because we weren't even officially dating. But here it's like, I'm still holding on to you. I still like want you. And I did this one in pencil where the others are in pen because I found pencil to be a lot more like temporary and erasable. And I also love how I still have bits of the eraser in here. One time someone was reading it and they like blew on it to get it all off and I was like, no, because I left it there on purpose, but I'm still holding on to him. I cannot let go. Here are my 10 laws of the universe. Be kind, do no no harm. Accept that there is always a reason. Treat your body with love and respect. Be the person you needed growing up. Do not doubt yourself. Have good intentions. Do not belittle your self-worth. Be patient. The universe knows what it's doing. Appreciate everything. And this is a printout from a quiz I took on my soul's color, and it said silver. This is actually from a reading for a world religions course I was taking, and I decided to color it in. I love how that turned out too. It's beautiful. But if you loved me, why'd you leave me? Codaline. I was obviously still hung up on that boy. I was going through a hard time and journaling really helped. Here are the actual laws of the universe to go with the other page about my own laws of the universe. I from time to time will have to go back and read these too if I forget what a certain one is called. This page is inspired off of some text that I saw on Tumblr as well as the images that I printed out. I watercolored these pages a light pink before gluing on these images of like humans and nature. It really stuck to me. I have a copy of this text next to my bed. I've had it there for years. It just reads, "Before you kill yourself, just remember that there are places you have not been and things you have not seen, and poems to awe, art to draw, fields to walk through, people to talk to, music to take in, games to win, and books to read. So why, oh why, do you wish to be dead?" And it really is just that reminder when you need it of everything yet to come. So I love it so much. I also love these images because we are part of the universe. Like literally we are made up of everything. I picked these in the spring from the ground I sat upon. The last time I heard your voice, you told me you loved me. The last time that I talked to that boy from high school was in the grass in the back of my dorm in the fall. And then in the spring before I moved back home, I sat there again. And I just remembered this was the last place that I heard his voice. And I wrote down here, they're dying already. By the time I was taping these in, they were already dying. And that was very symbolic to me of our relationship. Little Do You Know by Alex and Sierra helped me during this time. I'm sure a lot of people know that song. Again, the hands, except they mean something different here. In the summer, I started using Tinder and I was meeting some other boys. So this is a poem about a guy that I met. By the water, near the dock, I meet a boy too good to be true. July 2nd, I believe, the day I met you. By the water, near the dock, the last time I remember, that ache of him, the loss of summer. I can't hold on much longer. All those other images of me holding on with the hands, me squeezing onto him, I am setting myself free. I am starting to let go out of his grip, his grasp that he had on me. I didn't even finish the box because I wanted to free myself. And this is really symbolic to me of getting over him. Chicago. So that summer, my friend Emily and I went to Chicago to see Taylor Swift live in concert during her 1989 concert tour. We stayed at this hotel, and I remember writing this on my phone right before she came on stage. The clouds were pink above the open skyline of Soldier Field on the clear July night in sunny Chicago as I waited with Emily for Taylor Swift to appear on stage. Because of that, I did a cotton candy colored pencil background. Again, mementos, just saving all the tickets that we used, our hotel key. We did a photo pass when we went up to the sky deck, boarding passes, our concert tickets, everything's there. Whew. Then I fell madly in love, although I don't want to say that was love, with that Tinder boy, and I wrote this in my math class. Some mornings I wake up spinning, your hands gently placed on top of mine against the bars. The swarming evening of July heat, I am spinning faster and faster as you spin us on the playground equipment. Time either moves too fast or not at all. Still spinning, you stop and my head feels light. My stomach flips and the world's still a blur. We share our first kiss. Everything is spinning, and I never want to forget this feeling. Like fireworks right on the beach, I know you felt it too. You had to. Your head against my chest, you heard that beating heart. You explored my skin and chipped fingernails. You discovered a dimple I had no record of knowing, and before my very eyes fell in love. Obviously, I was very obsessed with him. I do not call that love, though. No, that was an F-boy. Funny how your perspective can change. So the end of summer, I wanted to capture all of my favorite moments from summer and the bright side, because I wasn't looking forward to going back to college. It was actually right before I dropped out of college. This is when I started my YouTube channel because I have hitting 1K and filming in a real studio, meeting other YouTubers. That was a big summer for me. Remember that Tinder boy that I was obsessed with? Yeah, this one's about him, To Love a Leo. I have a video where I read this to you. I'll link that down below as well. If you are a a Leo, you would probably love this poem because it's about you. After that poem, I have I Am Changing, and this is a very faded receipt of when I finally pierced my nose because I really wanted to get my nose pierced. Just a reminder that I am constantly evolving into who I'm going to be. Now this is about a new boy because I was on Tinder. This is actually the guy I lost my virginity to, funny enough. He moved away to Arizona. I think I mentioned that in the podcast episode as well, but this piece is definitely me trying to make it work because in my head it would all work out. So I really wanted to make it work with him, even though he probably didn't care for me at all. Better days are coming. I just had a really hard time getting over him, dropping out of college, like moving back home. I still had no idea where my life was going and what it looked like. Here are a few of the rejected paint samples because I was painting my room, trying to just change and be happier. Here are 2 poems that I wrote. I sketched this. I really love how it turned out. The hardest part was getting that streak of white between her socks, but I love it. I really love drawing. I don't really express that enough, but I am very proud of these 2 pieces, so it would mean a lot if you would read it. I had a little bit of a relapse. That's what this is, because I couldn't let myself do it, could I? I was so close to 1 year clean, and I think it freaked me out, so I just had to not hit that. Talked a lot about this with my therapist, but I will not go through that. Off of that last piece, though, here we have some therapeutic activities just to help, again, during a hard time. So in case anyone needs a list, here are some helpful therapeutic activities that help me. I know right now during quarantine, not everything here probably applies. This is what helps me when I'm feeling down. Summer 16 already, holy crap. So this was a really big summer for me because I attended VidCon for the first time and I went to Disneyland for the first time. I went to see Ellie Goulding in concert with my dad, so I write from concerts to California, here I come. I've got my boarding ticket for LAX, my Brandy Melville sticker, so it was just a really big summer for me. I also bought myself a new phone, so I put in my old phone screen protector here that was broken, and these are roses. I wonder if my first boyfriend got me them. It's so crazy that they're like brown now when they used to be bright red. And I write here, all I know is that beautiful things never last. But I did it in a way where if you just read this page, it says, I know beautiful things last. And then if you read the full thing, it says, all I know is that beautiful things never last. To the good years, I learned everything from you. That is the last page. There was another page here, but the nail polish stuck together, so I can't really open it anymore. Stuck in here is a little envelope of extras, and this just has more like magazine cutouts of things that I probably never found homes for. But this is the end. That was my journal. Everything that I went through, from visiting colleges, choosing a college, graduating high school, moving out, going to my first college class, experiencing love and heartbreak for the first time, dropping out of college, moving home. It's all right here, and I learned everything from you, to quote the last page. So that was my journal. I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below any of your favorite pages or an idea in your journal that you think I would enjoy, and please let me know if you'd like to see the journal that I'm currently filling. I'm actually doing it's called the Corona Diaries, but I'm basically just doing a ton of journaling now. I don't want the days to blend together, so I've been trying really hard to make every single day different and special and meaningful and have purpose. There's something about having a journal with no lines that makes me feel so creative because I don't have to stay within the lines just to write. I can really turn those pages into whatever I'd like. I also have a manifestation journal. I also have a YouTube journal. I've got tons of journals dedicated just to writing. I'm definitely a huge writer and someone that loves to creatively express themselves, so definitely let me know if you'd like to see some of my other journals. But before I go blind by the setting sun, which honestly feels so good because I haven't left my apartment in days, I'm gonna head out. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure that you're subscribed. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys real soon. Bye. I was so hurt and upset that I never gave him another chance.